Welcome to Hypixel Skyblock, one of, if not the most convoluted version of Skyblock in Minecraft. A mod that's been wildly popular for years, but somehow I've never played. So, let's see how a complete noob makes his first 10 million coins in Hypixel Skyblock. So, the first thing I did upon logging in was bridge over to the portal and get onto the main hub island. Then, I ran over to Jamie and retrieved myself my free rogue sword. Beauty, okay. Then, I did a bit of mining to get over to the gold mine island. After a while over there, I was able to get the lazy miner's pickaxe and an undead sword. With this, I thought I was ready for the deep caverns, but like a sloth at a rave, I was just out of my element. So, I headed back to the main island and upgraded to squire armor. Then, I got a very cheap, rare enderman pet that was on the AH for only 5k. With this new setup, the deep caverns won't know what hit them. Through my time in the deep caverns mining lapis, I was able to get my first piece of lapis armor being a pair of leggings. Then I took a break from that to level some minions and farm. Then I got back to it at the deep caverns, getting myself some lapis boots and a chest plate. And it may have taken a while, but I eventually got the lapis helmet, making me the owner of a full set of lapis armor. Heading back to the main island, I threw my old armor as well as some of the armor pieces of lapis I had duped while I was farming onto the AH for some quick money. Then I found this guy named Maddox hanging out in the basement of some bar, so talked to him and ran my first Slayer quest. At this point, when I was playing, I realized that I felt like I didn't know how to craft anything, because it's kind of different in this game, so I just ran around getting a bunch of collections just started so I could see down the tiers what unlocks where and how I craft various things I might want in the future. Then I went out and got the speed talisman, the fire talisman, all the adventure talismans that you can purchase at that shop, and the first 3 levels of the harp. Then I decided I wanted to grind up to combat 12, so I kind of multitasked and did some revs while I was grinding for that combat level. Later on, I was looking around the spider island and I found this house that got up on a hill, so I went in there and I found this old wolf lady. And bip bap boom, just like that, I have a grandma wolf pet. Following that, I made some mushroom armor, and that night, I used that mushroom armor to complete the next level of the fire trials. Then I ran into this guy called the Redstone Miner. He has a bunch of quests. I did that for mining XP, redstone collection, and just to get a bunch of redstone, because redstone collection is how you unlock more accessory bag slots for talismans and such. And after that, I had achieved the requirements needed to unlock 2 major things within a Hypixel Skyblock. First being the Bazaar, second, the Dwarven Mines. Also, while I was mining the redstone for that collection guy, one of the Guardian Piglins dropped a flaming sword. After this, I made my way down to the Dwarven Mines for the first time. Oh, I'm in the Dwarven Mines, let's go. And went to talk to the king dude to get my daily commissions. While I was running these commissions, one of them was to kill these glaciate guys, and I was able to drop glaciate leggings. Oh, there's the leggings. Beauty, first piece of armor. Glaciate helmet, and I also got a glaciate jewel, which I was able to sell for 200k. With this newfound wealth, I went to the AH and bought the rest of the glaciate set, as well as an enchanted water bucket. I overpaid for this so much. I then used that enchanted water bucket to get a Raider's Axe from the Viking NPC. The Raider's Axe ended up being an amazing investment, because I used it for a whole 5 minutes? I used it for so short because right after I got it, I did some more glaciate grinding for commissions. I made 500k from that, which I used to upgrade from the Raider's Axe to the aspect of the end. But I did profit off the Raider's Axe, so that's huge. It wasn't a waste at all. Following this, I found a great place for farming, which after running through the tutorial, I pasted a wheat farm onto. And after a little while of farming and leveling, I was able to replace that wheat farm with a pumpkin farm. I would appreciate it if it would plant it. At this point in the game, I was really getting lost. I didn't really feel like I knew what to do or what direction to take. I just had too many options, not much guidance. So I decided to start loosely following this guide I found on the fandom to help me keep progressing and make an interesting video. which led me to first making a wand of healing, second heading to the end island. While there, I grinded. Anyways, I grinded Enderman for a full set of Ender armor, and while I was doing this, they dropped an Ender necklace for me, which is the moment I learned about the existence of equipment. And after this, I decided to return to the garden to do some farming, and I learned another thing, the existence of pests. I goddamn hate these things. I don't understand why they're in the game. I don't understand what bonus they have. I don't understand why the developers thought it was a good idea. I hate them with every fabric of my being. Although, they do drop crops upon death, crops that contribute to collections, so they did end up being very useful towards my various crop collections. But this doesn't mean I like them. On a more positive note, I did manage to get a bronze in a pumpkin contest, which gave me the facilities I needed to buy a second plot, which I then dedicated to melons. Since I'm going to be spending a lot of time farming in the future, I decided to get a rabbit pet. Okay, so I'm going to get this rabbit pet for the farming wisdom. Rabbit pet gives farming wisdom, and farming wisdom lets you level up a skill faster for this skill farming. I also sent my Enderman pet into cat to be upgraded while I was doing this. I guess I must have finished farming because my next notes here say, after completing my mining dailies for the day, which means in the Dwarven Mines, I started prepping for running dungeons. Initially, I was planning on going into dungeons as an archer, but it was really tough and I don't really understand dungeons, or I didn't at least. So my dungeons class for this video would end up being tank, since it just seemed to be the easiest to thrive with and I really don't mind playing it at all. With all that out of the way, I finally got right into the dungeons. In this session, I grinded the cat of 5, making a decent chunk of profit along the way. Following this, I returned to the good old farm. Now, let's take a second to talk about politics. Actually, this probably isn't the right place for that. Anyways, in Skyblock, mayors and vice mayors give bonuses. So, with Aatrox as vice mayor, it was time to run some slayers. Following that, I did some more dungeons and some more farming. By the end of this farming session, I was able to max my pumpkin collection. Oh, there we go. Maxed out pumpkin collection. Now I just need more polished pumpkins for those rancher's boots. Logging on the next day, I started by redeeming some auctions for extra cash before getting back to farming. After collecting a total of 8 polished pumpkins, I went to craft the rancher's boots. Until I found out you actually need 16 polished pumpkins, and I was only halfway there. You're joking. I need 16 polished pumpkins? So, I got back to the dungeons. Well, that is right after I bought a full set of old dragon armor, enchanted it, dungeonized it, and 1-starred it. I was also able to reforge 3/4 of that armor before I ran out of money. It was right around here that I took my tiger pet in to start getting it upgraded to epic, but my dumbass forgot to record that, so you don't get to see it. After this, I headed back to the garden to farm some pumpkins. I also tried to farm melons, but I realized pretty quick you basically need a personal compactor to farm melons, because otherwise you're stopping like twice every row to craft crap. After a little while more pumpkin farming, I finally got my rancher's boots. I believe the best farming boot in the game. Still, after all that armor I bought a little while ago, I was about as broke as a teenager living in their parents' basement. So, me in real life. But anyways, with that I decided to run dungeons and make some money until I could afford a personal compactor for melon farming. After even more dungeons, I was able to get my sword to 5 stars, which, looking back on it, I think was a pretty dumb decision, but that's what the tank guide I was following told me to do, so I'm not smart enough to think for myself. Following this, I decided to kill a bunch of puppies until I was Sven level 3. And once I was Sven level 3, I could make a Maddox bat phone. By the way, imagine being so obsessed with someone, you have a phone just for their contact. That's crazy. After this, I just kind of sat around for a minute until the traveling Zeus showed up. Hey, Zeus here, what do you got, buddy? I'll grab that, why not? I'm enchanted jungle wood. Which I bought an uncommon monkey pet from. When I logged on the next day, I headed back to the garden to farm more melons, got 25 enchanted melon blocks before heading back to dungeons. After this, I spent a little bit of time foraging so I could make storage units for all of my minions. Next, I just got some hot potato books for my armor and dungeon sword. I also reforged the armor to perfect. Or at least I tried to. After I wasted all the money on the reforged stones for perfect armor, I realized, oh, I'm not even close to high enough mining level to apply these, so they'll just sit in my chest and be a huge money sink. That's fun. I just went and bought 300k worth of reforged stones and forgot to check if I could apply them first. I'm such a dumbass. And for some reason, instead of going mining to fix this issue, I went back to run dungeons. At this point, I started to do some research because I really wanted to advance floors in the dungeons. I was kind of just repeating the same floor. I believe it was floor 3. I came to the conclusion after a while that I would need to have fully hot potatoed weapons and armor. But I also wanted an upgraded weapon. So I started looking around to see what kind of weapon I would go for. And my plan was I was going to upgrade to the Flower of Truth. Meanwhile, I decided to keep grinding floor 3s for Dragon Essence and coin. Then I went back to farming and was able to make myself a melon chest plate. So I believe that means I can make a melon chest piece. My next note says, I farmed more to get the melon leggings and finish the whole set of melon armor, or at least 3/4, because that's all you get. You use rancher's boots. Make one more enchanted melon block. And I go like this. Bang, 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 and bam. And those are the melon leggings. I pop those on, and that is 3/4 melon with rancher boots. But it says I finished the set, which means that I got the helmet at some point. I don't know when I got the helmet, or if I just forgot to write it down, or what. But yeah, guess I just have the helmet now. Now, with the melon armor, it has a chance to drop crappie, which is used to upgrade it to the next level. But you only get a chance of dropping crappie when you're farming either carrots, potatoes, or wheat, so a very basic crop. So I decided I was going to set up a carrot farm. After a bit of carrot farming, I finally quit neglecting mining and did some. Via said mining, I was able to get a rock pet for free, and then I made a king's talisman. Once I was done my dwarven dailies the next day, I decided to go and find a replenish book, which I added to my hoe and used to farm carrots. This essentially just replants the carrots automatically behind me so that I don't have to do that manually. At this point, I decided to go into the bazaar and set up a buy order for enchanted baked potatoes. I did this because I just unlocked the recipe for hot potato books, which is an enchanted baked potato and 3 paper. Okay, so when I was farming there, I killed a pest that gave me taters, and I unlocked a tater collection for hot potato books. Now here's what I'm looking at. Hot potato books sell, if you do a sell offer, which I think will get filled pretty quick because people are always buying hot potato books, they sell for 84k. Enchanted baked potato you could buy for 70k. I don't know how quick a buy offer would for them, but I'm gonna set up a buy offer for enchanted baked potatoes and see if I can flip them into hot potato books. By using a buy order to buy enchanted baked potatoes, I could craft them into hot potato books and flip them for profit, making passive income. Off of that first flip I did of the enchanted baked potatoes to hot potato books, I profited like 100k. So I'm going to be having these passively going in the background, and I'll just check on them whenever I can for the rest of the video. Now, at this point, I was just about to finally buy the Flower of Truth and get a big boost in my dungeons abilities. But then I noticed something right before I buy it. Flowers of Truth need floor 6 completion to be used. I can't even complete floor 5 without this Flower of Truth, so how the hell am I supposed to complete floor 6? At this point, I decided to give up on the Flower of Truth and go for some different weapon to get me there instead. I've looked around online for a bit, and I think the play is going to be to go straight for Livid Dagger. The only problem is, I can't afford it yet. So I went mining. Did my dailies in the Dwarven Mine, did some farming, and went back to dungeons. While I was running dungeons, I was able to find a good party who kind of carried me to my first floor 5 completion. And after that, I bought myself a livid dagger. Bang. I then reforged, scarred, and enchanted the dagger until I was dead broke. Lifesteal. The next day, I got back on Hypixel Skyblock, got straight to the garden, and completed it in a carrot contest where I got my first ever silver medal. After that, I did my Dwarven dailies and ran some Rev Slayers. At this point in time, Diana was elected mayor, so I bought a griffin pet from her and an ancestral spade, which I used to go burrowing with. Now, I wanted to work on some rotten flesh collection, so since I was grinding zombies anyways, I figured I may as well do some Rev Slayers while I'm doing it, and multitask. After some of this, I was able to craft a crystallized heart. I actually decided to make 2 of them because I wanted to test if they would sell on AH, because I was looking at them and their margins from crafting them to selling them pre-crafted are insane. I don't know, usually when they're this far apart, they don't sell at all, but I wanted to test it. And to my surprise and pleasure, they sold instantly. So I decided to make a bunch more crystallized hearts and put them all on the AH for a lot of profit. While I was browsing around on the AH doing this, I saw an epic Megalodon pet for only 500k, which, to my knowledge, is super cheap for that pet at that level. So I decided to buy it. Then I proceeded back to dungeons, and by the time I was finished with dungeons, all of my crystallized hearts had sold, so I made more and threw them back on the AH. While they were on the AH, I killed some time by doing my Dwarven dailies and harvesting carrots. And by the time I had finished with that, the crystallized hearts had sold. Withdraw all. That is 10 million coins. Thank you all for watching. Anyways, see you guys.